Bodies of water are more than just vital elements of our natural environment. Our seas, rivers, lakes and streams are also shapers of culture and tradition. In the sixth season of Dayaw, we go with the flow to see how this most vital of resources has enabled us to become bearers of Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride. Sustainability is a big word these days, a guiding principle and touchstone that steer tourism workers, environmentalists, and cultural workers alike. As a unifying philosophy and goal, sustainability seems like nothing more than a grand idea, an unreachable star, so to speak, when contrasted with bigger economic concerns. And yet, we must reach for it, plan for it, make it a reality, rather than just an ideal. In this episode of Dayaw, we see how the people of Bohol and Antique maintain a sustainable ecotourism, one that promotes heritage and environmental awareness and conservation, while welcoming and educating visitors and tourists alike. To understand how Bohol's culture has been shaped by bodies of water, we spoke to local historians and residents. They traced the histories of small towns connected by water, by bridges, by structures of faith, and administration. Panglao, popularly known as the resort island of Bohol, was once a separate island, a distinct polity with roots tracing back to the 12th century.
Town has always been here even before the coming of the Spaniards, because on the body of water behind us there used to stand a kingdom, a sort of actually it was not really a kingdom but a settlement or a polity that was established around the 12th century AD and which persisted until 1563. At that time, the people who lived in that settlement, which they called the Pitan settlement, were like the Bajaus. No? They live on top of water and then they bury their dead on the land surrounding it. So that this area here, especially at the back part of the convento, used to be a burial site of the people of the Pitan. So Dayaw is a very important town for us, although this was established as a parish only in 1697. This is not one of the original 6 towns in Bohol built by the Jesuits, but the culture that developed here in this island seemed to have been a continuation of a way of life that stretches back even centuries before. It's just that the place where this town is located is so situated that It was conducive to the rise of inter-island trading and also safety, because the area is more or less covered, by the island of Panglao and the mainland of Bohol. We see here in Dawis these two elements, water and mountain. And water has also played a very important part in the history of this town. Accordingly, there was a group of fishermen who were from Argao in Cebu, and they were preparing to cross the sea to come to this town, which they call Mariveles. Mariveles actually refers to the date palm trees that used to grow in abundance in this area. This idea of water, being the conveyor of life, conveyor of faith, conveyor of tradition, conveyor of our particular outlook in life, about our lifestyle as fishermen, as farmers, ordinary craftsmen and artisans who used to inhabit this town until recently, is connected with the idea of water. It's also interesting that inside this new church, which was built in 1863 and finished only in 1923, we can find right below the altar this well. This well is actually one of the many wells that we can find here in Dawis. The well of Dawis is considered by the townspeople as their link to the patron saint, so that every time they visit the shrine of Our Lady here and during the fiesta, they make it a point to drink, not to be healed, but in order to be connected with the patrona. And this is something that may not be understandable to some tourists, that we are trying to correct that impression that this is a miraculous well. If there is anything miraculous about the well, it's the fact that it has remained fresh all these years.
I was once a parish priest of Dawis way back in 2005 up to 2009. And when I got there, I was already fascinated by the site. The play of the water and that very magnificent church and structure, which for me was a perfect blend, a little of Venice. And so during that time, we tried to develop the whole site and provide the skills training and livelihood program for the people, be able to support especially the young people scholarship program, and that they will be able to have some ways to maintain the place and to sustain not just to preserve and develop the heritage site, but as well to sustain the lives of the people without damaging the vicinity and the site and location.
In Bohol, the bodies of water, the sea, and the rivers have all shaped the history and the culture of the folk. As we continue our journey on the waters, we see just how folk tradition is both preserved and reinterpreted for modern-day visitors. Moving further inland, we once again see how the history of faith and colonization converge on Bohols Rivers. First, in 6 settlements built by Bohol's first spiritual administrators, the Jesuits.
So the Jesuit missionaries arrived here in Bohol on November 17, 1596. And they started proselytizing the natives and establishing towns. Interestingly, by the early part of the 17th century, the Jesuits reported that there were already 6 towns in Bohol that they have established. And these 6 towns were located in between rivers, or actually along or near the 6 major rivers of the island of Bohol. The distribution of population in Bohol, the establishment of town centers has always been built in consideration with the presence of a body of water, either river or sea.
The connection of a body of water to the mountains nearby were indeed the ideal locations for the towns and churches of Bohol. Despite the great earthquake, the restoration work on these churches yields a detailed study of how the churches of Lubok and Baclayon were built, helpful tools in reconstructing these edifices.
The churches in the Visayas were built out of coral stones, derived from the ancient coral beds of the island. Our churches are lighter, creamier in color because they are actually derived from corals. The same holds true with the wood, the lumber that is used in our churches, and even in our ancestral homes. When we have wood boards as wide as half a meter, no, that were used either as flooring, or walling. These had been derived from the ancient forests of our island, something that has been a gift of nature to us, and which we utilize with the intention of replacing them, with the intention of not decimating them, but using it only for particular uses.
Today, the rivers of Bohol provide a viable form of sustainable tourism, one that, in hindsight, has happened much faster than the locals expected.
The water that surrounds us, the rivers, the strait, had been used as a means of getting people from one place to another. Before, nobody would ever thought of coming to Bohol, seriously, because in order to come here before, you have to travel 4 hours, you know? I mean, sometimes overnight, and it was so inconvenient for many people that many tourists decided not just to stay out. But after the fast craft were introduced to Bohol, you could come from Cebu to Bohol and back.
The influx of tourists has led the cultural workers of Bohol to reassess their situation. The sustainability of tourism efforts leads them back to the rivers and the bodies of water and their preservation. Beyond the idyllic river scenes that tourists take in, there are the Boholanos whose livelihoods depend on the rivers and from what they can harvest from the waters.
Abatan River is one of the pristine river ecosystem in the province. In fact, the river also is the source of livelihood of the communities along the river. Gleaning, fishing, nipa leaves harvesting, for their weaving, and then the ecotourism activities.
Pag maganda ang huli, 500 nakikita ko sa kuhan. Crab. Tapos, kung parang hindi, kunti lang, mga 250.
Okay na ba yun, Pano, sa pangsususin nyo araw-araw?
Sobra na po yun, ma'am.
Ubat?
Pag low tide na po, pasaka kami makuha ng ganyan. Kasi pag high tide, di kami makakuha ng ganyan, malalim yung tubig.
Paano po nakakatulong sa pamumuhay nyo ito yung Abatan River?
Nakakatulong talaga ng malaki kasi wala naman kami abang hanap buhay dito eh. Dito lang sa dagat.
Abatan Lingkod Mangrove Nipa Growers Organization. So siya po yung organization na nagbabantay po nitong aming 105 Nipa Bakawan Plantation. So doon po kinukuha itong aming ginagawang nipa. No? So yun lahat po ay mga naturally grown. Kaya lang po kami na po mismo yung mag-harvest o kaya may sinusuhulan para kumukuha po nito na naturally grown po itong mga nipa, no? Pero ang pag-harvest po namin, ginagawa po sa bawat mga claimants po. May mga claimants ang bawat area. So, doon kami kumukuha ng nipa. Kasi kusa po siyang tumutubo, then yung pag-harvest po, kinukuha lang po yung matured leaves na lang. Yung isang palm na mature na, siya lang po yung kinukuha, iwanan po yung hindi pa mature. So, ang paggawa po nitong pahod, kung tinatawag namin dito, ginagamitan ito ng mga nipa leaves, then itong bamboo strip. Pawaran po ang tawag namin dito. Then, ang pantali po, itong sibit, ay kinukuha lang din po sa likod ng palm niya. So, yun po yung ginagamit. So, ganyan lang po ang paggawa nito. Pwede 3 dahon sama-sama. Pwede 2, pwede din 4. So, ganito lang po ang paggawa. So, hanggang maubos po yung isang pauran, ganun pa rin yung proseso sa paggawa. Then, pag abot ng 10 ganito, so, tinatali siya. Ang ginagamit po sa paggawa ng bubong, depende po yun kung gaano kalaki po yung bubong nyo. Then, yung paglagay nitong isang nipa sa ganyan, patong-patong lang to hanggang sa taas, then kailangan elevated po yung paglagay. Hindi flat. Kasi pag ganyang naka-flat siya, yung tubig na manatili dito, madali pong masira ang bubong. So, kailangan nakaganyan siya ang position. Kung maganda po ang pagkalagay nitong isang pahod, abot siya 5 to 6 or even mga 10 years kung walang mga manok na nakapatong palagi. No, abot pa siya. Depende din yun sa panahon kasi kapag palaging umuulan, madaling masira itong rain or shine, ganito. Batan River po, abundant po siya sa mga resources, lalo na sa kinukunan ng kabuhayan namin dito. Isa itong primary source ang nipa, then meron din tayong mga isda, no, mga clams, dami mga resources doon na pwedeng kabuhayan ng mga tao dito po.
We still believe that there's hope for the future, especially for us Boholanos. And this is, the hope here comes from our belief that a belief system that we have inherited from our ancestors and which we still adhere to a certain degree, even up to the present. And this gives us an idea that we cannot just destroy nature and the things around us, because these things that we find around us had been so much a part of our life so much a part of our belief system, so much a part of the way we view the world, and therefore it's not an alien thing. It is something that is very much connected with our consciousness as a people. So I believe that in order for our next generation of young people to fully understand the concept of environmental preservation and conservation, we should adhere to our traditional sensibilities, traditional belief systems that we had inherited from our ancestors.
Idyllic, historic, pastoral. Like sustainability, these words are used to attract tourists and keep the local economy afloat. But more than just pageantry and frolics, there is a deep cultural awareness, a sense of pride of place that roots tourists in an authentic Boholano experience. From Bohol, we move to the Bohol River in Antique. The numerous accolades from national and international organizations laud the cleanliness of the river and the environmental dedication of those who live on it. Yes, it can be done, and the people of the Bohol River do it every day. The custodians of the Bohol River in Pandan, Antique have very much to be proud of. Their efforts to keep the Bohol the cleanest inland body of water in the country have reaped many awards and accolades. The most prestigious of these came from the Green Organization, an independent, non-profit, and non-political environmental organization based in the United Kingdom. How do the custodians of the river make sure that there are activities interesting enough to tourists while maintaining the cleanliness that has garnered so many accolades?
Ginagawa ng mga guides, ng mga eco-guides, yun ang maganda sa kanila kasi silang nagpo-protect ng mga puno.
The bridge.
Dati nung hindi pa masyadong boom ang tourism dito sa Pandan, yung mga guys na yan ang nagkakaingin, yan ang nag-ano ng mga puno. Pero sa ngayon, sila ang nagpo-protect. Kahit sa ngayon, hindi pwedeng pitasin yan ng mga bisita. Kasi sila nga ang nagpo-protect. Kasi alam nila na dito sila nabubuhay. Alam nila kung gaano kahalaga ang ilog na to sa kabuhayan nila. Sa ngayon, yung guys na water tubers, 32 na sila. Yung trekkers, 12. Ibig sabihin, 44 sila at lahat ng pamamahay dito sa Malumpati, within Malumpati, nabigyan na ng hanapbuhay sa tourism.
Bali, 3 years kami sa November 6 sa site guides, tubers dito sa Malumpati. Nagpasalamat ako na malaking tulong sa amin, sa akin, para makapaaral ako ng mga anak.
Kasi dati, nag-ano rin kami, huli ng mga hipon dito sa ilog. Pagtapos naggawa kami ng kopra dito, yung nyog. Nagawang kopra. Yun lang ang trabaho namin dati. Pero sa ngayon, naging tour guide. Baling sektor na kami ng guide dito sa Malumpati. Sa maghapon, nilagay namin yung panghuli. Pagtapos kinabukasan, yung pagkuha namin, pagkatapos sinasali namin yan sa isang lalagyan, diyan namin iniipon. Mga 10 panghuli, yun. Mga isang linggo, makuha kami ng mga 1 kilo mahigit sa isang linggo. Kasi yung mga dito sa Bohol River, dito kami ng mga yung mga pang-ulam namin. Kung wala kaming ulam, hanap lang kami diyan sa ilog ng Bohol River. Yon, na kami ng pang-ulam. Tulad ng mga hipon, isda, yung mga eel, yon nandyan. Nandito po lahat yan sa ilog na to.
Hanggang ngayon napakalinis po ang Bohol River dahil ang community is working hand in hand to ensure that we maintain the cleanliness of the river. They do river clean up twice a month. Yan ang mga guides, naglilinis yan twice a month. Kaya napanatili naming malinis ang ilog.
Lakes and rivers in coastal areas like Bohol and Antique give people a greater chance to become intimate compared to the vast expanse of the ocean. And through time, they develop skills necessary for surviving as a community. They develop oral traditions. They develop rituals, festivals, celebrations. If you like to continue attracting tourists to lakes and rivers in coastal areas like Bohol and Antique, we have to respect the integrity of nature. We cannot build resort houses, hotels using straight lines. Nature has no straight lines. We have to build structures. We have to have curvilinear, irregular contours, just like the contours of rocks and the swaying of trees and the contours of the lakes themselves and the flow of the rivers. This is how to preserve the natural appearance.
More and more, we see how tourism can be a viable source of income that does not have to destroy the environment. More and more, we realize that visitors can come and admire our islands without actually destroying them or polluting them. And this is truly heartening for me. We see how locals can come together, steered by the ideals of sustainability. In Bohols Rivers and in the Bohol River in Antique, the waters of life flow on, welcoming visitors but wary of the dangers of pollution and environmental destruction. The custodians of these rivers are the very people whose forefathers have built lives on these waters. Doubtless, they will also be the ancestors of future generations animated by the same commitment. Their efforts at sustainable tourism make up a new culture, one that respects and nurtures Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.